There, my name is Jonathan. In this tutorial, I'm going to go through the merge intervals problem. Given an array of intervals where intervals I is start and I, merge all overlapping intervals. So with the first example, just trying to understand the problem. You get 1, 3, 2, 6, 8, 10, and 15, 18. And it seems like it's being merged on 1, 3, and 2, 6 into 1, 6. And then also the other ones are not overlapping, so there's no merging. And then with example 2, from 1, 4 to 4, 5, um, the 4 and the 5, the 4 and the 4 are equal. So that's where they overlap. So it's going to be 1, 5. Here is print out. Here's a picture of my plan. The plan is to do like a window. So after we get the try and get it so matching. See, matching previous problems. I'm not sure any previous problems. I've never seen it before, but I think I would have to use a for loop to go through all the different intervals, and then this is an array, so we'd have to, I'm guessing we'd have to create an empty array and then put in two arrays, two intervals at a time, and compare them to each other. And the first one that we put in would be a -2, we call it previous, and the current one we would put in would be -1 current, and then we would compare them. And if the current start, which would be the 2, is smaller than the previous end, which is 5, then we would have to find the maximum of the current end, which is 6, and the previous end, which is 5. And then we'd have to set that as the previous end, so we would change the 5 to a 6. That would be a 1 and a 6, and then we would pop off the first interval, the current interval -1 to 6, and then it would have to go into another loop and bring in the next interval, which would be 3, 4, and we would compare that to 1, 5 and see if we can, if it needs to be merged or if it'll be skipped. The current start, let's see, so that's all for that one. And then, so the way that I thought about creating a solution for this problem in the planning phase would be, so first we would have to figure out if we need to sort the arrays. And the first thing we would do would just sort the arrays by the first numbers, and then we would create an empty array called box, and then we'd say for I in range length intervals, if the length of the intervals is more than 0, then we would append one interval at a time to the box array. And then after the box, we do that twice, the box array would equal 2, and we'd be able to compare these two arrays at a time using this if statement. It says runs only with a minimum of 2 arrays, it won't be able to compare anything else. And then we can set a current start, which is the which is going to be the current one. Meaning this is current start is going to be the -1, 0 box. So this is the second interval that came into the box array. The first one would be previous, so that would be box -2, 0. And here's an example here. -2 previous would be 1, 5, and then -1, the current box would be 2, 6, and we can we can see if the current start, so if -1 current box -1, if the current start, which is the number 2, is less than or equal to the previous end, which is 5, then box -2, 1, which would be this 5, would change to the max, anyway, to the max of -2, 1 or -1, 1. And whichever one would be bigger, it would take on that number. So in this case, with 1, 5, and 2, 6, 6 is bigger, so it would pop off 5, and then it would go through the array again, adding 1 at a time, and then the box length would be 2 again, and then it would compare another one, and so on. And then at the end, when it would be done, it would return the box. So that's the plan and the pseudocode. Thanks. Oh, and also, just to go through, created this as I created it. Can do a sample problem with just 2 here. So the answer should be 1, 3. Okay, and then just walking through the problem, it would be merge 2, 3, and 1, 3, and it's already the intervals. We have interval 0 and interval 1. Then we're going to sort the array, and so interval 0 would be 1, 3, and 1. Interval 1 would be 2, 3, and then create an empty box array for I in the range length intervals, which is 2. If the length of intervals is more than 0, we're going to append one interval to box, and then it's going to go through and apply another interval to box. So that's one interval, and then it's going to apply the second interval to box. So box 0 is 1, 3, and here it's going to show you previous start equals the second. So it'll be the first box that went in. So that should be the 1, I believe, and the 3 for previous end. And then current box will be 2 and 3. And then here it says if the current start of the box, which is 2, is less than the previous end, which is 3, which it is. So box -2, 1, -2, 1, which -2, 1 is the previous end. So that's going to change the previous end to give it the max, which is 3. And then it's going to pop the first one off and leave us with 1, 3. And then I'll print 1, 3. And that's it.